All right, this question is a bonus question for F period and a required question for G period. What we're going to do is we're going to find the equivalent resistance here. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to start out on the right and work our way in. So let me just number resistors here. I've got R1, R2, R3. I'm going to call this R3. I'm going to call this R4. Nah, sorry, I'm being picky. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, and R6. So the first thing. Resistor 4 and resistor 2 are in, so 5 and 6. These two resistors are in series, so I'm going to combine them, and then I'm going to actually redraw my circuit. In fact, I want to zoom out a little bit. There we go. So I'm now going to redraw my circuit with R5 and 6 combined, and let's be clear, R5 plus R6 is going to be 6 ohms. So I'm going to combine and then redraw. So I've got my battery. And my other resistors. Very cute. Here's my 8 ohm resistance. That's R1. I've got my R3, which is 20 ohms. And I've got my R2, which is 30 ohms. So I'm just going to draw the little 30 ohm here and write R2 there. Very cute. And then we've got our R4, which is 10 ohms. And finally, we have our newly combined R5, 6 equal to 6 ohms. Excellent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and combine R4 and R5 and 6 because they are clearly in parallel. So I'm going to leave it as a fraction until the very end. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to get 1 over R4, 5, 6 equals 1 over R4 plus 1 over R5, 6. When I combine, that's going to be 1 over R4, 5, 6 equals 1 over 10 plus 1 over 6. That's going to actually work out to 6 over 60 plus 10 over 60. 6 over 60 plus 10 over 60 is going to be 16 over 60. So R4, 5, 6, when I flip it, is going to be 60 over 16. So you'll have to do the work of putting it over the common denominator. But that ends up being 15 over 4, which ends up being 3.75 ohms. All right, let's redraw the circuit. Again, battery. So we've got R1 as 8 ohms. We've got 30 ohms for R2 and 20 ohms for R3. Excellent. And then 10 ohms here. And then finally, we've got, no, but we just combined this in parallel, so we don't have that. This is, in fact, 20 ohms here for R3. But now what we have is we have R4, 5, 6. And that's equal to 3.75. Here's the problem. This entire branch is in parallel with all of this here. So we've got to combine the 20 and 30. So let's go ahead and combine R2, 3, 1 over that is going to equal 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. That's going to end up being 1 over 30 plus 1 over 20. So that ends up being, when we use common denominators, we're going to end up getting this as 5 over 60. So that means R23 ends up being 60 over 5, which is 12 ohms. And we're getting closer. Now we can redraw our circuit one more time. We got 8 ohms here, 12 ohms here. Now this is R1, R2, 3. And then we've got R4, 5, 6. So now we can combine R1, 2, 3. This actually gives us 20 ohms. So we'll redraw. 20 ohms for R1, 2, 3. And then here, 3.75 ohms for R4, 5, 6. So now we're finally ready to get R total as a parallel combination. 1 over R total equals 1 over 20 plus 1 over 3.75. So let's just start by doing that math. So 1 over 20 plus 1 over 3.75. And then when we take the reciprocal, we're going to end up getting we're going to end up getting here 0.3167. And when we take the reciprocal of that, we end up getting about 3.16 ohms worth of resistance. All right, so that wraps up question number 8, and we'll do question number 9 for G period in the next video.